Hi! Hello! Good day again, grade 6 learners. Okay, so ito naman yung pangalawang video lesson nyo sa English. Okay? So, after nung isa, ito naman. Okay, so now we're going to focus with the perfect tenses of the verb. Diba last time, doon lang tayo sa simple tenses of verb. So, ngayon naman, we're going to study all about the perfect tenses of the verb. Okay? So, are you ready? Okay, so if you're ready, just look at me, watch the video, listen to our discussion so that you will know the answer to your LAS or learning activity sheets. Okay, now let's proceed with our lesson for today. Okay, so this is our MELC or our most essential learning competency for this grading period. It's to compose clear and coherent sentences using appropriate grammatical structures, which are, our focus is on verb tenses. So, dito pa rin tayo class sa verb tenses. Okay pa? Let's proceed with our lesson for today. Okay, now class, let's discuss all about the perfect tenses. When we say perfect tenses, it shows an action that is complete and finished or perfected. So, ito yung mga action na tapos na or complete na siya or perfected. Okay? It is expressed by adding one of the auxiliary verbs like have, has, or had, and the past participle of the main verbs. Ito yung gagamitin natin ngayon. We're going to use the auxiliary verbs have, has, or had, and also the past participle of the main verb. So, hawakan na po yung binigay ko sa inyong list. Nandun yung mga verb and then the past form and their past participle because we will use that in making your own sentences using the perfect tenses. Okay pa? Alright, now let's go to the next one. Right. Okay, so for example, class, let's have an example of perfect tenses. The first one, I have seen the movie The Avengers for almost 2 hours. Alright, so alin dito yung verb class? Yung perfect tense of the verb. Okay, you will see here the verb have seen. So, yan yung verb dito, okay? So, this sentence is an example of a sentence in perfect tense. Okay, another example. Judy has moved her chair to the counter before the teacher arrived. Okay, so that is also another example of a sentence using the perfect tenses. Next one. My parents had left when my lola arrived. Okay, so notice class yung verb dito yung had left. Nasa perfect tense siya. Okay? Next naman. I will have finished my module by the time my teacher calls for submission. Okay, so yan. So, the verb here is the word have finished. Okay? Or will have finished. Okay, it should be will have finished. Diba? Alright, now let's go to our next slide. Okay, now class, we're going to talk about the present perfect tense. Okay, we're going to study present perfect tense. So what is a present perfect tense? So, it refers to an action or state that happened or occurred at an indefinite time in the past, or something began in the past and continued up to the present. Okay, so pag ginamit natin class yung present perfect tense, ibig sabihin nun, yung action natin sa sentence, nangyari na siya in the past, pero walang exactong time kung kailan. Or, nagsimula lang siya noon, tapos matatapos siya ngayong present. So, that is in the present perfect tense. Okay? For example, class, ito. Shane has worked as a flight attendant for 2 years now. Okay? So, notice here, the verb here is the verb has worked. Okay, subject, it's si Shane. Okay, ang verb natin na ginamit is has worked. Okay? Shane has worked as a flight attendant for 2 years now. So, si Shane daw, nagtatrabaho daw bilang flight attendant na 2 taon na ngayon. Okay? So, kaya, yan, present perfect tense. So, nagtrabaho na siya noon pa hanggang ngayon. Kaya, ang gamitin natin ay present perfect tense. Okay? Next naman po, example, they have traveled to Manila for almost 8 hours. Okay, how about this one? What is the verb? Have traveled. And the subject? They. Okay. So, ang ginamit natin na verb is the word have traveled, which is also in the present perfect tense. Okay, now let's study it more as we go along with more examples, okay? Let's proceed. Right. Ito naman, class, let's study about the structure of present perfect tense. Ano naman ang itsura ng present perfect tense? Okay. Ito naman, let's have the first rule. When the subject is singular, use has plus the past participle of the verb. Yan. So, tandaan natin, pag singular naman yung subject, dapat meron tayong auxiliary verb na has, tapos yung past participle ng verb. Okay, tandaan class ha? Has, tapos yung past participle ng verb. Okay po? Like for example, this one. A tourist guide has accompanied them since the first day of their tour. Okay, ang subject natin is a tourist guide and ang verb natin is has accompanied. O, di ba? Yung tourist guide is singular. Okay? Isa lang siya, guide. So, kaya gamitin natin yung word na has. Tapos, yung main verb natin, dapat nasa past participle siya. Kaya, accompanied. Okay? And notice, class, gumamit tayo ng word na since. So, yan. Pag may word tayo na since, pwede siyang maging present perfect tense. Okay po? Next example, Sheila has worked as a nurse for a year now. Okay, so subject, Sheila, and then the verb is has worked. Has worked. Okay? So, yan. So, notice si Sheila is singular. So, ang gamitin natin ay has. And then, the past participle of the verb, work. Worked. Okay? And, notice, gumamit tayo ng word na for. Okay? So, pag as much as possible, pag merong for, pwede siyang maging present perfect tense. Depende class sa gamit niya sa sentence. Okay? You need to carefully examine the sentence para malaman mo kung saan siyang tense nakalagay. Ano po? Let's have more examples. Okay. So class, another rule for present perfect tense is this one. When the subject is plural or I o kaya yung you, use have plus the past participle of the verb. So class, kapag plural naman yung subject natin o kaya I siya o kaya you yung subject, gagamitin natin yung have. Di ba kanina, pag singular yung has. O pag plural naman, class, have ang lagi natin gagamitin. Plus the past participle of the verb. Okay po? For example, they have explored Bicol Cave for almost an hour. Okay, subject, they. How about the verb? Have explored. O, di ba yung they is plural? So, kaya, gamitin natin yung have plus explored, the past participle of the verb explore. Diba? And meron tayo ditong for. So, pag may for, pwede siyang maging present perfect tense. Diba? Next, Sheila and Maricel have worked as nurses since 2015. And si Sheila and Maricel, yan yung subject natin. And the verb is have work. Okay? And then, we use the expression or the conjunction since. Ano ba? Next example. I have practiced my sport table tennis for a year now. Ayan. So, subject, I. Diba? Sabi ko, pag gamit tayo ng I na subject o kaya you, ganun din. Have plus the past participle of the verb. So, yung have practiced naman, yan naman yung verb ng sentence. Ano po? Okay, great. Now, let's move on to the next one. Okay, next. You have studied in elementary since 2013. Ayan, the subject is you. And then verb have studied in elementary since 2015. Ayan, nandyan mo yung word na since. Ito naman sa isa yung word na for. So, pag may for and since, kadalasan pwede siyang maging present perfect tense. Okay? Very good. Now, let's move on to the next slide. Right now, class, we're going to have sample sentences for present perfect tense. Okay, let's study the sentence one by one. Okay, number one. She has made the cake for 2 hours now. Okay, so subject, she. How about the verb? Has made. Bakit dapat has made ang lalagay natin? Ha? Kasi yung she is singular, di ba? Pag singular, has yung gagamitin natin, di ba? Okay, number 2 naman. Allen has played Mobile Legends since this morning. Yan, lang ginagawa ninyo, laro ng Mobile Legends. Okay, subject, Allen. How about the verb? To, has played. Okay, yan. Meron tayo ditong word na since. Ano po? Okay, next, number 3. He has taken care of me since birth. Okay, the subject, he, and the verb is has taken. O, bakit na naman has taken? Kasi, ano nga yung he? Singular. Okay. And then the word since. Okay, number 4 naman tayo. They have given us relief goods since the pandemic started. Ayan, ano yung subject dito? Yung word na they. And verb, have given. O bakit dito have given na hindi na has? Kasi yung subject natin na they is plural. Di ba yung they plural yan? Sila. So, kaya gamitin natin yung have, hindi na yung has. Ano po? Okay, number 5. My parents have worked as teachers since 2010. Ayan, subject, my parents. And the verb, have worked. So, yung parents is plural. Kaya, we are going to use have. Okay po? You understand? Okay, very good. Okay, class, ngayon naman, let's move on to the past perfect tense. Okay, sa past perfect tense naman, class, it indicates an action that had already happened at some point in the past and before another action took place. Yan, we'll explain that later. It also refers to actions that are completed before certain or specific time in the past. Okay, so example class ito. Jay had quarantined before he went home. Ayan, nag-quarantine daw muna si Jay bago siya umuwi sa bahay nila. So, subject here is Jay. And the verb is had quarantined. Okay, that is the verb. Next, we had taken a swab test when we traveled to Manila. Okay, subject, we. And the verb is had taken. Ayan naman po yung verb natin. Okay, now let's have more example. Now, class, this is the structure of past perfect tense. Okay, number 1, when the subject is singular or plural, use had plus the past participle of the verb. Okay, ito naman, kahit pa siya singular or plural, lagi lang natin gagamitin yung had. Di ba kanina, pwedeng has, pwedeng have, dun sa present perfect tense. Sa past perfect tense, lagi lang siyang had. Tapos plus the past participle of the verb. Ano po? Okay, let's have an example. Okay, number 1. When they had left for the city, they realized the value and importance of nature. Okay, yan. So, yan yung sentence natin. Ang verb dito, yung word na had left. Ano po? So, yan. Subject, they, and the verb is had left. So, tapos na kasi. So, nung umalis daw sila papunta sa city, na-realize nila yung kung gaano ka-importante at gamit-gamit yung nature. Okay? Okay, next example. Jerson had worked as a nurse before she went abroad. Okay? Or pwede siyang he. Pwede rin tong he na lang. Lagay natin ang he na lang siya. Kasi Jerson, lalaki siya, di ba? Pwede natin yung she, he lang. Ano po? Alright. Yan. So, ang subject natin dito ay si Gerson. Okay, subject is Gerson and the subject is had work. So, sa Gerson daw, nagtrabaho na muna siya nurse bago siya pumunta sa abroad. Ano po? Alright, next sentence. After Shane and Mark had passed the nursing licensure examination, they applied for work. Okay, subject dito yung Shane and Mark and verb is had passed. Okay? Next example. I had worked as a nurse when the COVID-19 pandemic started. Okay, subject, yung I. And the verb is had worked. Sabihin, nagtrabaho daw siya bilang nurse nung nagsimula yung COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, next one. You had worked as a nurse before I met you. Okay, subject dito yung you. Had worked is the verb. And as a nurse, ayan, before I met you. Ayan. So, nagtrabaho daw siya ng nurse bago niya nakilala. Ano po? Okay, so, tingnan nyo class dito, yung mga word na, pwede natin gamitin yung word na when, ano pa, yung word na before, ano pa po, after, what else? When ulit, and before. Yan yung mga word na pwede natin gamitin na nag-express ng past perfect tense. Okay? Let's move on. Okay, let's have more example of sentences in the past perfect tense. Okay, number 1. You had written the letter before she entered your room. A subject is you, and the verb is had written. Diba? Next, number 2. My mother had washed the dishes when her favorite TV drama started. Subject, my mother. How about the verb? Had washed. Diba? Number 3. Joshua had sorted the papers after his sister told her not to do it. Okay, what's the subject? Okay, Joshua. How about the verb? Had sorted. Notice class, wala namang pagbabago. Lagi lang siyang had. Tapos yung past participle. Kaya dapat alam nyo ang mga past participle ng verbs. Kaya nga binigyan ko kayo ng listahan, di ba? Okay, number 4. We had played the table tennis before the accident happened. A subject, we, and the verb is had played. Okay? Okay, number 5. Jessica had mopped the floor when the teacher arrived. Okay, subject, see, Jessica, and the verb is had mopped. Alright, so nagmap na daw muna si Jessica bago dumating yung teacher. Ano po, or nung dumating yung teacher. Tapos na siyang mag-map. Ano po? Okay, do you understand? Alright, very good. Let's go to the next one. Okay, now class, we're going to talk about the future perfect tense. Ito naman, future perfect tense. So, it describes an action that will be completed sometime in the future before another future action will take place or before a specified point in the future. Ito naman, merong action na mangyayari pa lang siya, pero meron din isang action na mangyayari din halos kasabay lang nun or bago yun. Ano po? Example class, ito. He will have written the letter before the mailman arrives. Okay, so, yan. So, she is the subject and the verb is will have written. Okay, another example. We will have finished our jobs by the time the storm hits. Okay, subject, we, and the verb is will have finished. Okay, now, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so now class, we're going to talk about the structure of future perfect tense. Ano po? Okay, ito naman. When the subject is singular or plural, the verb is will or shall have plus the past participle of the verb. So, lagi lang siyang may will and have. Pwede naman yung shall class. Pero mas kadalasan ginagamit natin yung word na will. Ano po? Example. By next year, they will have returned to the place with their families. Ayan. So, ang subject natin is they, and the verb is will have returned. Next example, Sheila will have worked as a nurse here before she goes abroad. Ayan. So, Sheila is the subject and verb is will have worked. Next example. Excuse me. Sheila and Marcel shall have worked as nurses by the end of next year. So, subject is Sheila and Marcel. Verb is shall have work. So, pwede naman gamitin class yung shall. Pero mas accept or mas ginagamit natin yung will. Ano po? So, shall, plus have, and then the past participle of the verb. Okay, next. I will have worked as a nurse by the time my father retires from work. Ayan. Subject, I, and the verb is will have worked. Next example, you shall have worked as a nurse by then. Subject is you, and the verb yung shall have worked. Okay po? Okay, let's take a look at more example para mas lalo nating maintindihan. Ano po? Okay, these are some examples of sentences in the future perfect tense. Number 1, I will have completed the task by next week. And what is the subject here? Okay, subject is I. Okay, subject is I. And then the verb is will have completed. These are the verb. Ano po? And then expressions of time, ito by next week. Okay, next, number 2. Shane will have drunk the juice before her brother comes. Okay, anong subject natin dito, class? Subject is Shane, and the verb is will have drunk. Ayan, yan yung ating verb. Tapos, yung expression of time, pwede ito before. Yan, before her brother arrives or comes. Next, number 3, my parents will have enjoyed their vacation by then. Okay, ay alisin natin yung, yung the. Okay, na-omit na ko lang siya. Na-double ko yung paglagay ko ng then. Ano po? Alright. So, yan. Let's continue. Subject is my parents. And then the verb is will have enjoyed. And the expressions of time is by then. Okay? Next, number 4. Face-to-face classes will have begun by the end of next year. Ayan, subject, ito, face-to-face classes. How about the verb? Will have begun. Yan naman yung ating verb. Okay, haba, di ba? Next, number 5. Sarah will have finished her modules by next week. Yan. Kayo ba si Sarah, class? Tatapos lagi ang module? Sarah is the subject, and the verb is will have finished her modules by next week. Ayan, meron din tayong pagtandaan dito yung word na by. Okay? You understand? Alright, if you do, we're going to have practice tasks for you. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Alright, so ngayon naman class, you're going to have your practice task number 1. So ito naman class ay nakasulat na sa inyong learning activity sheet. So all you need to do is to answer it. Okay? Okay. The first activity is that you're going to determine what kind of perfect tenses the underlined verbs are by writing PR for present perfect, PP for past perfect, and FP for future perfect. Write your answer on the blank before the numbers. So, ito class, we're just going to identify kung ano yung verb niya. Kung siya ba ay present perfect, lagay mo siya PR. Pag past perfect naman siya, lagay mo PP. At pag future perfect, lalagay natin is FP. Okay? Alright, let's proceed. Number 1. Mother has planned a perfect meal for the family for several weeks. Ayan. Ano yung word na has planned? Ano siya? Anong klase ng perfect tenses siya? Okay, number 2 naman, she had cooked a healthy breakfast for her children before she went to work. So, yung verb na had to cook, ano ba siya? Next, number 3, she will have prepared the food by lunchtime. Yung verb natin, yung will have prepared. Next, number 4, by weekend, mother will have gone to the market for a week's supply of food. Okay, verb natin is will have gone. Next, number 5, by that time, she will have bought a variety of fresh fruits. Okay, so verb natin, she will have bought. You can do it, class. Kaya niyo yan. I'm expecting you will get perfect score in this one. Okay, next po. Okay, now we're going to have practice task number 1 pa rin, pero ito naman yung 6 to 10. Yan, 1 to 10 yung practice task 1 ninyo, ha? Okay. Number 6, since they were young, mother has wanted them to eat the right kind of food. Ayan, yung verb dito natin yung has wanted. Number 7, for many times, she has reminded them the value of being healthy. Okay, yung verb natin has reminded. Next, number 8. Before she served the food, she had explained why junk food was not included in their meal. And so, ang verb natin is had explained. Okay? Next, number 9. She believes that she has done her part as a mother for several years now. And so, ang verb natin is has done. Okay, next, number 10. To thank their mother for her sacrifices, the children had cooked. The verb is had cooked. Okay po? Very easy only. You can do it, class. Kaya nyo yan. Dapat 10 over 10 ang score nyo yan, ha? Sa practice task number 1. Tinan lang po ninyo yung verb at malalaman nyo na ang sagot. Okay? Alright. Now, let's have number yan. Okay, number 2. Practice task number 2. Okay, this is just very easy. We're going to underline the correct form of perfect tenses in the following sentences. So, guguhitan ninyo kung alin dyan yung tama. Ano po? Okay, number 1. Father has planted, had planted, will have planted vegetables in the yard since last summer. Number 2. He has spent, had spent, will have spent most of his free time taking care of them for almost a year now. Okay, number 3. The children have helped, had helped, will have helped him water the vegetables before the sun rose. Let's go to the next one. Number 4. They said that they have enjoyed, had enjoyed, will have enjoyed watching the plants grow. Number 5 pala. Fortunately, the father has harvested, had harvested, will have harvested all the fruits and vegetables when news about the typhoon came. Number 6. He has brought, had brought, will have brought them to the market by tomorrow for selling before the typhoon lands. Next po. Okay, number 7. The vegetable vendors have bought, had bought, will have bought father's fresh fruits and vegetables by the time the market closes. Number 8. Father and mother have planted, had planted, will have planted more vegetables in their backyard by weekend. Number 9. By Saturday, they have extended, had extended, will have extended their garden plots for new seedlings. And number 10. Their neighbors have admired, had admired, or will have admired them since the time they settled in their backyard. Okay, come on, class, you can do it. Go ahead and answer it on your learning activity sheets. Ngayon naman, class, for practice task number 3, you are just going to write meaningful sentences by using the correct perfect tense form of the verb found inside the parentheses and supplying other appropriate words to complete the sentence. Ito naman, class, you're going to construct or write your own sentence. Meron tayong example dito. So, the children, tapos yung verb na kailangan niya is eat. And dapat nandun siya sa past perfect tense. Okay, ang answer niya, the children had eaten all the pineapple pie before their mother arrived. Ayan, so dapat nasa past tense siya. Nasa past tense ba siya, class? Nasa past perfect tense ba siya, class? Yes, it is. So, had eaten. Nasa past perfect tense siya. Yan yung verb niya. Subject is the children. Okay? Alright, now let's have number 1. You will use the word the fireman. And the verb is arrived. It should be in the past perfect. So, gamitin yung had arrived. Number 2, the patient die. Okay, in future perfect naman class. Number 3, Lawrence and Michael help. Present perfect naman siya. Jessica saved. Gamitin natin sa future perfect. And Mila, gamitin naman natin yung verb na finish sa past perfect. Okay, this is just very easy class. Tigto 2 points itong lahat ng mga sentence. Pag nakuha mo lahat, you'll get 10 perfect points. Okay, very good. Okay, there you go. We are done with our lesson for today, all about past perfect tenses. And thank you for listening, class. Thank you for watching our video for today. And I hope you will watch the video, the next video that I'm going to send you. Pero matagal-tagal pa yun. So, just relax and hopefully masagutan nyo ng tama ang lahat ng activity na binigay ko sa inyo last Monday. Okay po? So, if you have questions, don't forget to call me or text me sa messenger kahit saan man. Okay? Alright. Bye, class. Stay healthy and stay safe. Bye.